We're very excited to have you join us today. We hope you and your families are staying healthy during this incredibly challenging time. We just want to send our appreciation for all the members on the line who are joining us today. This is the first of what we hope will be many Caribbean roundtables.
The group is, in your opinion, what are going to be the drivers that's going to get our region, the Caribbean that we love so much, back on track? I mean, what's going to have to happen for this to work, right?
Statistics that tourism represents about 10.4% of GDP throughout the world, but in the Caribbean region, that amounts to about 15.5%. And in 2019 in particular, we were doing quite well. We actually ended the year with record RevPAR performance. Never in the history of the Caribbean had ADR and RevPAR been that high. So we were in a good position. I think the other element that was important is that because of the crisis in 2008, which was financial in nature, the health of the banking system today is much better. Having said that, the tourism sector was not built for us to operate at zero revenues. We have significant operating costs, fixed costs, labor intensive, and if we don't sell the night tonight, it's not like retail that you can give a discount and sell 2x tomorrow. You're stuck by not having sold that night. So some of these hotels that were mentioned before, about 87% of properties remain closed in the Caribbean, and they're burning anywhere from about $500 to $1,000 per room per month. Rather than talk about a recovery of the sector, it is really a reconstruction, because there is going to be a fiscal policy problem going forward, as these governments, they need to embed themselves to help specific sectors. What this means is that there's been a liquidity crunch, a lot of needs for the small and medium-sized enterprises to access liquidity to satisfy the needs on a short-term basis. This crisis cannot be resolved by the private sector alone. It does require government support in the form of stimulus.
Both Nevis and St. Kitts have been dormant now for almost 7 weeks. Having been through a couple of these sort of punctuated times in the last, couple of decades, I mean, I compare where we are closer to 9/11 than 2008. And it's an opportunity that is that maybe only comes around every once in a while. And I think that whether it's second home, which I'm doing a lot of, a lifestyle, I think that there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be reassessing where they were pre-COVID, and they're going to be saying, this is what I can do. I mean, someone has a flat, $4 million flat in New York where they have 3,500, 4,000 square feet. They can come down to my place and they can get, a very nice home that's overlooking, blue water with beautiful weather.
COVID has hit us hard, but we think it's gonna also potentialize a lot of the good things that Costa Rica has. People have been able to work from home without a problem. All of the free trade zones have been working really well. Our medical devices clusters have been working 100%. And so I think that a lot of the manufacturing moving to the Americas, or especially the high value added manufacturing and the higher tech type of things, are going to be moving and relocating to Costa Rica. So given that scenario, even if the economies do bounce back, even if the stimulus plans do fall in place, the reality is that people won't be buying or spending until probably a little bit further out. So that makes it challenging to balance the timing of all of this and understand, okay, I can come and I can build, outside of just the hospitality sector. I can build residences, I can build malls, I can build, anything, or reconvert or reconstruct in some way, going back to what Rogerio just said. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to when people are going to actually exercise, the acquisition or the investment in, or just the general consumption. We need to be creative, and I think that's part of what the Caribbean sector area has. That by being creative, we're going to find a way of mixing and blending these asset types and these ecosystems to make it through this initial downturn.
And so we've obviously seen a significant adjustment to our way of life as a result of that. There were 24-hour curfews put in place with limitations to go to the supermarket, go to the gas station, things like that. And as of next Monday, the construction industry will restart. And actually just before this call started, I got a message that our land registry will reopen in its full capacity as of May 11th. So from our private sector real estate element, the Turks and Caicos is a very strong luxury market. We are a low density, high value area to be in the Caribbean. As an example, in Q1 of this year, our average single family home sale was $2.1 million. And that is the market that we have historically targeted from the late 80s up until now. We had property owners here for whom it may be their second or third home were electing to come to the Turks and Caicos because they realized that wherever they were living in the world, they were likely to be put under some form of quarantine. And if they were going to have to do that, they'd prefer to be in a larger home with good weather and more space.
Nowadays, it seems impossible to talk about economic development in Puerto Rico. And in most of our neighbor islands in the Caribbean without talking about the momentous task of rebuilding after Hurricane Maria's impact on the island. As it's widely known, every crisis brings an opportunity. And this time is no exception. United States lawmakers have started to consider the H.R. 6648 presented by the delegate to the United States Congress for the U.S. Virgin Islands, which will provide an incentive to Puerto Rico and the rest of the U.S. territory to react to the islands, the pharmaceutical industry. The unparalleled combination of a long-standing initiative program, the fact that close to 98% of the island is an opportunity zone designated, and the reconstruction effort in process makes Puerto Rico the best choice.
We must make many, many changes, not just in the hospitality sector. It's important that we make changes in manufacturing. We need to look at renewable energy. It's been a priority for our government. I believe all the other islands need to take upon that. Maybe a lot of the things that we are putting in place in being more climate resilient, and already Dominica is the nature island of the Caribbean, we are going to utilize that to see how we can bring in more health, more wellness. We're an ecotourism destination, of course, and see how these two can tie in together as we recover from COVID-19. But we have to make ourselves be seen as the solution to this crisis. The Caribbean has to be seen as the solution. So I believe it's just a lot of work that we have to do. And again, I'm happy to be here to share this and to learn from the other presenters. Thanks.
Interested, we're here for you at ULI. We're dedicated to tapping the brightest and best minds to find great solutions to obviously very challenging problems. Say thank you for everybody that made this possible and for dedicating time to this.